My name is Angela Jones. Today we're going to examine the history of action films. Action films are known to have many elements. The most consistent element of action films is having one or more heroes who are met with various physical challenges throughout the film. Action films also have the tendency to include fight scenes, chases by car or on foot, and either gunplay or explosions. Some action films are considered action-packed when they include many of these elements. Action films typically have a hero, a villain, and a damsel in distress. In the 1920s and 30s, action films were swashbuckler tales that were set in Western Europe and included sword fights. Historically relevant events were part of the plot of these films. The damsel in distress element was present, and there was always romanticism between the lead hero and the damsel. The most famous films during that time were The Mark of Zorro, The Three Musketeers, and Robin Hood. Douglas Fairbanks, who wrote, starred in, produced, and directed many of the swashbuckling popular films at that time, was responsible for many of the stunts and athleticism shown, as well as humor, of those films. Swashbuckling films still exist, and many of the classics have been remade. Fairbanks' influence is very evident in swashbuckling films seen today, such as the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. The 1940s and 50s saw the rise of westerns. John Wayne was the biggest star during this era. John Wayne was in 180 movies from the beginning of his career until the end, and most of his starring roles were in the 40s and 50s. The 1960s were dominated by James Bond. Ian Fleming's character brought to movie screens introduced us to the lone hero, evil villain with the disposable henchmen, gadgets, guns, fast car chases, and death-defying stunts. In the 1970s, we began to see more detective and urban crime dramas incorporate action sequences such as car chases into their films. This was most notable in Dirty Harry, starring Clint Eastwood. Martial arts films also became popular in the 70s, particularly ones starring the late Bruce Lee and Chuck Norris. In the 80s, action movies began to take their place as summer blockbuster films. Actors such as Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, and Bruce Willis became huge summer movie stars. One of the most popular film franchises of the 80s starred Harrison Ford, who went from co-starring role in the highly successful 1977 film Star Wars to being the star of Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark in 1981, thus catapulting the action-adventure movie to the forefront. Filmmakers began to show that the damsel is not always a female character in need of rescue. By the 1990s, the damsel role in action films evolved to also include multiple people, male characters, a population of people in major cities, and even the entire planet Earth. Whether you prefer fast cars, beautiful women, or saving the world, thanks to those who came before us, action films have it all.
I need you to behave.